mean, do you ever think how it used to be? And maybe how it should be? Like once upon a time in Africa, in Africa, in Africa, in Africa.
Ah, yes.
You know what I remember?
What you remember, man?
I don't know, like once upon a time in Africa.
The dust travelers could pass habitats and vast lands, the maps chopping us. Once upon a time in Africa.
Before the boundaries and colonies, Sudan was called Kush. Before the colonies, once upon a time in Africa.
It was written and got stolen, so the village had the poets spitting riddles at the Romans. Once in Africa.
Before they made noise, rock and roll and soul gold, I was a free soul. Ayo, once upon a time in Africa.
The Indian Ocean couldn't win the potion strong enough to leave the ships on each corroding. Once upon a time in Africa.
A brother stand at the edge of the horizon and jump over the sun. Ayo, once upon a time in Africa.
Fella spoke, Brenda joked, they unsettled ghosts and left holes in telescopes. Once upon a time in Africa.
They lived a revolutionary black messiah. We still pray to him to take us higher. Once upon a time in Africa.
A few crooks made the good book the pretext for who looks the beast flesh. Once upon a time in Africa.
Church was empty, I was a free child. I used to speak to God directly. Once upon a time in Africa.
Man, we were continents ahead. The formula you read is now haunting us instead. Once upon a time in Africa.
We knew a tree's nature roots would distract you from your sickness with its bitter flavor. Once upon a time in Africa.
We made the paper that you later made the slaves obey and chained away for trader pay. Once upon a time in Africa.
You trained a pound of peas for your neighbor's homegrown tea. That's how it used to be. Once upon a time in Africa.
General president for life and several wives got killed and it was televised. Once upon a time in Africa.
Before TV was perversion, a brother watched Good Times, the Zulu version. Once upon a time in Africa.
The beatbox was drum beat, the Reeboks were chart feet, and hip hop was lung deep. Once in Africa.
The most beautiful girls checked for brothers who were nice with their words. Ayo, once upon a time in Africa.
Was a history lesson with the missing section. I flunked out, sorry, this is Western. Once upon a time in Africa.
A gangster's gun would unlock and then pop, only to keep the peace on the block. Once upon a time in Africa.
76, ebony mist, don't get it twisted, the devil exists. I said once upon a time in Africa.
We had 3 parties, house parties, where chips coke, but no cards from Cardi's. Once upon a time in Africa.
Wasn't no skin color, but in color, now they own the Zim dollar. Once upon a time in Africa.
Before the beast there was peace, a brother blazed without first checking for police.